All right, I meant to do this last week, but I was sick for the week, and I forgot about it. About 6 months ago, Amazon announced, it might have been 8 months ago, I think it was September of last year, Amazon announced that they were going to be, across the board, raising all of their employees' salaries to at least $15 an hour. And basically everybody on the left cheered. It was some demonstration of success, and they didn't pay attention at all to the other side of that deal, where all of the Amazon employees who had their wages raised lost their stock options, so they weren't getting vested in the company. What the hell was that? Oh, how about that? Slick roads. I forgot I had this thing and it just started buzzing. Doesn't matter. So Amazon raised all of their salaries to at least $15 an hour, and all of the Amazon subsidiaries have to follow. They lose their stock option. They're no longer vested in the company going forward. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to late in February, and there is a complaint from Whole Foods. It ends up on the front page of, I don't know, Huffington Post, I think. Daily Mail. It was on the Daily Mail. There are complaints from Whole Foods, a subsidiary of Amazon, for about the last 2 years, that their hours are being cut. And Whole Foods does an internal audit, and they are proud to announce that no, people are working the exact same hours they were working before Amazon made them raise everybody's wages. And then they snuck this into the article, and I don't think anybody caught it, but Amazon is preparing a round of progressive restructuring, which means they're going to start looking at their least skilled positions, the low performance jobs that basically aren't worth $15 an hour, and they're just going to eliminate those jobs. So congratulations, liberals, you got $15 an hour, and it's going to cost probably a couple thousand people their jobs, because Amazon is one of the biggest employers in the country, and they have their fingers in businesses that you might not think about. So I see in the very near future Amazon doing some restructuring, and hundreds, if not thousands, of people being laid off from Amazon. And it's all directly because of raising their minimum salary that they offer for new hires, for just across the board, raising their minimum salary. Somewhat related to this, apparently Andrew Yang has thrown his hat in the ring for 2020, and if you weren't completely convinced that this guy is an outright socialist by the fact that he's promising Americans $1,000 a month of universal basic income, which is outright, communism, look at his official website and look at the stuff that he lists on his platform and policy. He is in favor of aggressive gun regulation. He's in favor of invasive gun regulation. So not only does he want to limit your access to firearms, he wants to create a tiered licensing system. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work, but it's probably open carry, concealed carry, and reciprocal concealed carry across the state, or something like that. It'll govern what kinds of guns you're allowed to purchase. So they're regulating a market. It's extremely invasive. They also want to have people voluntarily hand over all of their guns, and they want to have mandatory in-home gun locker inspections, like you would have a random drug screening. That is a violation of your Fourth Amendment right to privacy. Andrew Yang wants this. He wants to do the whole Canada thing, where we start prosecuting people for not using preferred pronouns for crazy people, and that's the trannies in the LGBTQ word salad. For not using their preferred pronouns, he wants aggressive protections for the LGBTQ community. They don't need aggressive federal protections. Nobody gives a shit about them. The only reason they're making a big stink is because nobody gives a shit about them. Nobody cares enough to champion their issues or to harass them. Nobody cares. They're not the center of attention, and it drives them crazy because they're leftist lunatics and they have to be the center of attention. Andrew Yang, yeah, I only bring him up because his UBI is related to Amazon's $15 an hour minimum wage, which appears to have affected Whole Foods, despite their protestations to the contrary. Whole Foods claims that their employees are working similar or the same hours that they were a year ago before everybody had to have their salaries increased. And there have been no staffing changes, no hours changed. I don't believe that because that's not how the market works. That's not how human greed works. That's not how a for-profit business operates. When costs go up, you cut labor. That's how it works. You either raise prices, and if you are in an inelastic market, which a lot of Whole Foods is because it's, food, if you can't raise prices, you cut workforce. Andrew Yang wants to do the same thing on a federal scale. That UBI that he's promising everybody, that extra $1,000 a month just for existing, he wants to fund that by leeching off of Silicon Valley, which is Silicon Valley's losing a lot of face, and rightfully so. I have a feeling that the Silicon Valley bubble is going to burst in the next few years, and they're really not going to be the cash cow that they are right now. Like, Silicon Valley is the only reason California is somewhat financially stable and not in complete free fall, because of the amount of money they parasitize off of the tech sector. It's the only industry in California that's actually making money. Texas has a booming tech economy. I think they're going to become the next tech sector, and it's a lot more expansive to growth because they have a more friendly tax structure. Like, they don't have a state income tax, and they're very attractive to businesses. A lot of thousands of businesses left California over the last, I think, 10 years, and they went to Arizona and Texas primarily, and it was specifically because of the tax structure, because it was more profitable for them to actually move than to maintain operations. So moving, building new infrastructure, migrating your workforce, and retraining new staff was more cost effective than staying in California. Let that sink in. California is fucked. And Andrew Yang wants to do California to the entire country. Do not vote for Andrew Yang if you have a functional brain cell. I know the losers out there really like him because he's promising free shit. Don't follow that siren song. The man is functionally retarded and clinically insane. He is a pathological leftist. He wants to take away your rights and freedoms, and he's promising you free shit that he'll never be able to give you to do it.